We've all wondered about it at some point. Is it possible to travel back in time? It's one of the biggest questions we could possibly ask, and today we're going to look at one of the most brilliant, most elegant experiments ever designed to get an answer.
So, I want you to picture this. It's June 28, 2009. We're in a quiet hall at Cambridge University. You've got balloons, champagne on ice, the works. And there's this big banner hanging on the wall that says, "Welcome, Time Travelers." And right in the middle of it all, the legendary physicist Stephen Hawking is sitting, just waiting for his guests to arrive.
And that's the big question, isn't it? This is the cosmic mystery we're diving into today. It's a detective story that spans all of time. And believe me, the answer is way more interesting than you might think. Okay, so what made Hawking's party so special? Well, it all came down to a single genius detail. The invitations? He only sent them out after the party was already over.
Just think about that for a second. If you get an invitation for a party that happened yesterday, there's only one way you could possibly show up. You'd have to be a time traveler. It's simple, it's elegant, and it seems like a perfect test. Which, of course, brings up the next question. How could a time traveler even do that?
Well, to understand how someone from the future could make that journey, we have to go back to the guy who literally wrote the rulebook on this stuff, the one and only Albert Einstein.
So Einstein had this totally revolutionary idea that space and time aren't two different things. Nope, they're woven together into this single four-dimensional fabric he called space-time. And here's the crucial part. This fabric isn't stiff. It can be bent and stretched and warped, kind of like a giant cosmic trampoline.
And because space-time is flexible, time itself isn't constant. Einstein's theories showed us there are actually two proven ways to travel into the future. First, you can go really, really fast. The closer you get to the speed of light, the slower time ticks for you compared to everyone else. The second way? Get close to something with a lot of gravity, like a planet or a black hole. The massive gravity literally warps space-time and slows time down. And hey, this isn't just some theory from a textbook, it's a proven fact. When astronaut Scott Kelly spent a year up on the International Space Station, he was zipping around the Earth way faster than his twin brother Mark, who was still down here. And the result? When Scott got back, he had aged a few microseconds less than his twin. He had literally actually traveled a tiny fraction of a second into his own future. So, okay, we've established that traveling to the future is totally possible. We've measured it. But what about going the other way, back into the past? Let's get back to that quiet room in Cambridge and see what Hawking's experiment actually revealed. As you can see, the party kicked off at 9 o'clock, but as the minutes turned into hours, the hall was just silent. Can you imagine? Hawking sitting there patiently watching the door, just waiting for someone, anyone from another time to walk through. And then, at midnight, the party was officially over. The result was as clear as it was quiet. Not a single person showed up, not one time traveler walked through that door. The past, it seemed, was completely off limits. Now, you'd think Hawking would be disappointed, right? But for him, this wasn't a failure at all. In fact, he was pretty pleased. To him, that empty room was powerful evidence for one of his most profound theories about how our universe actually works. He called it the chronology protection conjecture. It's a fancy name for a pretty cool idea, that the universe has its own built-in safety system. It's almost like reality has an immune system that's programmed to stop paradoxes before they can ever happen. So, how does this cosmic security system work? Well, first, it prevents those classic paradoxes, like the grandfather paradox. If you go back in time and stop your grandfather from meeting your grandmother, you'd never be born, which would mean you couldn't go back in time in the first place. It's a complete contradiction. Physics also suggests that any attempt to open a shortcut through space-time, like a wormhole, would require so much energy that it would just instantly collapse on itself, like a door slamming shut right in your face. So that's it then. Case closed. The universe protects itself and traveling to the past is impossible, right? Well, what if there's a loophole, a truly mind-bending possibility that comes straight from the weird world of quantum physics? This is where things get really wild. The loophole is called the multiverse theory. It suggests that if you travel to the past, you don't actually change your past. Instead, the very moment you arrive, reality splinters, and you create a brand new parallel universe. Any changes you make, like, say, showing up to a party, only happen in that new timeline. Your original universe is left completely untouched and perfectly safe from any paradoxes. And this brings us back to that party one last time with a final, fascinating question. Maybe Hawking's party wasn't empty after all.
Maybe a time traveler did show up, and in that very instant, a brand new universe was born, where the experiment was a huge success, a universe that we, in our original timeline, can never ever see. It's entirely possible the party was a hit, just not in our reality. Now that is a thought worth thinking about.